Doe jij de host? Doe ik de host? Doe jij het?
Als jij het wil doen, be my guest. Anders doe ik het.
Is that your lady?
Ja.
We zijn...
It's got a nice vibe.
Oké.
I don't think I've met
Dirk,
her before.
we're live.
We're live. Okay. Excellent. We are live here at the High Rollers. That's where we are, with two remarkable gentlemen from the cannabis world. Sitting right next to me is Soma.
Hello.
Welcome to this podcast. And sitting next to you is JAIR VELLEMAN. Welcome.
Hi.
So, yeah, to me it's the first time I've been here. We are in the small city of Alkmaar. And this is a really interesting location, I think. What's your first impression of the place?
It's very urban, very cool, very... like a little bit like the NDSM terrein in Amsterdam, like that kind of feeling.
Like it used to be there.
Yes, like it used to be there back in the day. I really like the vibe, and the weather is beautiful. So there are definitely some things going on, and let's also be sure this is kind of special because we have a Dutch city that's kind of being progressive, allowing this to actually happen. So thumbs up to Alkmaar for actually being okay with this little piece this get together of stoners in cannabis users in Holland, because we didn't see that for I don't know, like 20 years. I think the last time we had something going on in Holland, it was in DERRICK, and it ended up getting raided.
Mm-hmm.
And
the High Life Festival.
The High Life Festival.
I was there.
Yeah. I mean, me too. And that was kind of the end of anything that was
like the large scale sort of.
Like real events.
We did have, of course, Cannabis Liberation Day in Amsterdam for 10 times, but that's not. It was. A demonstration.
Yeah, it's a demonstration.
And that was really because I of course helped organize it for many years, and that was exactly the reason why we were able to do it in Amsterdam, even though the pressure politically and the climate was so bad, because we could just base it on the constitution. We have a right to demonstrate. But this is indeed different because it's like, it's a party.
Yeah, it's a party, and it's kind of fun. And there's no like I said, we didn't see that for the longest time, and I'm really happy that maybe this is a startup of something that might come back to our country, because we kind of missed these kind of.
We had to go abroad. Really.
Yeah, we had to go abroad, and that everybody did. So we have seen that, and like I said, I don't like traveling 10 hours by plane going to California or something. So it's thumbs up for Alkmaar.
Could you guys maybe talk about the events that were happening back in the day? Like, for our viewers, they're very young viewers, they have no idea what went down 20 years ago, 20 years ago.
Well, kind of interesting if you talk about the concept of a cannabis fair. This is actually a very Dutch idea. It was my first, the guy I first wrote my articles for, Boy Ramsahai, back in the day, the guy that started High Life magazine, and afterwards started Royal Queen.
Was it the first one in Nijmegen?
Did you know Ingmar?
Yeah, I know him from that period.
Yeah, well, me too.
So in the very early 90s, when High Life just started as a magazine, we're talking 91, 92, they started with a tiny cup, and I still feel sorry that I didn't get to be at the very, very first one, because this was in Utrecht, and it was a super small affair, basically like the original Amsterdam High Times Cup started too.
I think I went to that one.
A few guys sitting in a restaurant and judging like 7 different kinds of weed. But okay, so with High Life was the first to sort of start something, and Boy, because he has such a keen commercial insight, he made this first idea of combining like a trade show, so with professional people from the industry, but also let the consumers mingle and let them be in there. So it's more like what we know in the Netherlands as the huishoudbeurs, where you get companies, but you also get a lot of consumers having a good time. And of course, then it was all geared to cannabis. And sadly, I think the very last one of the High Life events, it must have been something like 2006, around that time?
Yes, I went there.
And then by then already in Barcelona, Spannabis had started, basically copying that idea of the High Life Festival.
Yes.
And of
I
course,
went to the first cannabis in 2004.
yeah.
Yep, that's right in that era.
And then, of course, you see after Spannabis, you see other European events coming up, like Cannafest in Prague and Cultiva in Vienna. We used to have the Expo Grow. I don't know if it's still on in Irun, in the Basque Country, for a few editions there.
You know what happened to me in Prague? 2010, right? That was the first one? Okay, I'm set up at my booth. I give a talk. I think it was about 35 minutes. While I'm on the stage, somebody asked me, how do you smoke? And I go, well, I smoke a few different ways, and I had a joint on me. So I lit up the joint to demonstrate how I asked the guy that put on the show, am I allowed to smoke a joint on the stage? No problem.
Really?
Really?
In the Czech Republic?
2010. So I only have this one joint on me. And I have a lighter. I light it up. I start smoking it. Mila's in the audience. A lot of people are. And at the time, I have a German girlfriend at the time. My girlfriend, Judy. She has dreadlocks like me. I have my long dreadlocks. You know, I didn't cut them yet. And I don't want to hold the joint the whole time on the stage, so I pass it to her. She's right in the audience there. She takes a puff, passes it to the next person, and it keeps going. Mila gets it. Mila gets it. Blah, 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 blah. It pretty much makes it, that one joint, it was a good one, it pretty much made it through the whole room audience. And
That's almost a biblical moment.
I'm smiling. I'm thinking, fucking Prague is fucking
Lit.
cool as shit. This is the first fucking one of these cannabis things here, and it's holy fuck. That was. You can see that talk on YouTube. It's still there, but anyway. So I go back to. I'm selling seeds. My Polish friends are helping me with my booth. I sit down back in my booth and I see these two guys. They, from like, I think it has to be minimum 20 feet away. I can feel that they're narcs, they're cops, plain clothes. So I fucking take all my shit off except my passport and my ID and my medical paper. You know, because I'm a I got medical papers at the time. And I see these guys. I know they're going to come to me. And like, within 5 minutes, they come over to me and they go, can you please come with us? And I go, why? They go, just come with us. And they go, they have a police car there. My German girlfriend, she says, can I come? No, you can't come. You know, she's kind of naive at the time. And so the police station was about 10 blocks away from where that show was. And they booked me because I passed it to the public.
I think the law is like that in the Czech Republic.
Carries a 3-year sentence.
Wow.
They take me to fucking Prague fucking jail from the early 40s or something. The only thing that's modern is the computer system and the camera, you know. And I spend Saturday night there, Sunday night there. Monday, I finally go to court. I have to sign this paper promising that I'll never come to Prague.
Wow.
For 5 years.
Wow.
And they'll let me come back to Amsterdam.
Okay, that was pretty good outcome, actually.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. And I've never been back there.
That's why I was surprised when you said you lit up and it was all good.
No, it wasn't good. It was like It was really horrible.
Too soon. Too soon.
What I remember from Cannabis, the early editions, but up until the last one I've been to, is that you can smoke weed outside, but you really have to look all around you if the police guy is coming or if you see some rumor from other smokers, and then you really have to make sure all the weed has to be gone, because they'll book you. They will take you to the station, you know. And I do think that maybe use is not such a big
And
thing.
every one of
but
them had a
passing
shaved
it-
head. Every cop had a shaved head in Prague.
Yeah, it's you got to be careful, still.
Yeah, no, I know. It's going off right now. You can hear the crowd.
Yeah.
So
This guy's a good show.
I've seen it in the U.S. In 2007, I went to one of the first Max Yield shows in the U.S. They weren't called weed shows; they were called like hydroponic shows. And it was about growing tomatoes, and everybody knew it wasn't about tomatoes, but tomatoes was kind of the key word. So we've seen in the first years there was one show, and then there were two shows. And then there were 5 shows, and then cannabis came out, and there were 15, 20, 35. Like, there was a show every weekend. And then it kind of collapsed in on itself. And there are still shows in the U.S., but there are now a couple of shows. But yes, you saw this huge explosion of what you've seen in Europe also.
Yeah.
Like every country, everywhere, so you will have winners and losers, and some shows will pass away. And
I don't know if you were in Berlin last year for the
yes, I was.
I think everybody was there. That's why it's so super overcrowded.
Mary Jane is going to be the
biggest
new.
one.
Yeah, it's going to be the biggest one. It's going to be the most important one. Also because Germany is the going to be the biggest market of Europe, because it's the biggest economy of Europe, and it's
And
just
they're pretty good at making stuff.
And they like quality. They're
probably
willing to
make
pay.
good
They're
grow
willing to
lights, all
pay.
kinds of stuff.
I mean, that will be a huge market for everything in that has to do with cannabis.
They're not rolling back, huh?
Yeah, they're not rolling back. The new
though they
government,
have a simple
we were afraid for a moment that the new government might roll it back, and it's not happening. I already kind of guessed that, because they need the money. I mean, they need to buy a lot of weapons at this moment. And
Respect to my fellow activists in Germany, Stefan Guy.
yeah, but I also
They
understand.
said from
I
the
also understand they're going to
beginning,
take.
they'll not roll
They're going to take weed money and actually buy weapons. It's kind of fucked, but you know, like,
You can't have it all.
you can't have
Especially
it
in
all.
politics. Now, but what you will see in Germany, I think, is during this government they have now, they were planning originally to also have commercial stores and commercial production. That is really put on the back burner. But the home growing, the possession and the clubs,
The home growing is huge.
yeah, so
It's huge.
That will only grow.
I wish we had,
But to have
something like
stores
that. That we need
will
that
take
in
some
Holland.
Oh yeah.
That's an example for
Yeah.
our Dutch government.
Especially at the very bare minimum, for medical users.
Oh, yeah.
They should all be allowed to grow their own supply.
There's only one city actually in the Netherlands that actually allows that if you have a medical prescription, which is Tilburg. But in all the other cities, they treat you just the same if you were like a recreational weed grower, and they can actually evict you from your house.
Well, and even in Germany now, it's recreational free plants. I mean, please let us have something similar.
But a little more, I would say, yeah.
Of course, a little more, but let's
How much would you say SOMA would be ideal if you have it in the law?
I have seen in Florida when I used to grow, I have seen a plant have basically 2 kilos of buds at the end, a giant bud.
I think I had.
A plant with a stalk like that.
So there are definitely cultivation techniques that you can take one plant and make a lot out of it. But you know, and I understand that you say more, but I think using Germany right now as an example to the Dutch government, you're like even the Germans get it. You know,
I still think we should stay, because there's a lot of politicians, I know this for a fact, who think that 5 plants in the Netherlands is allowed, which we know
it's
really
not true.
Not,
It's not
No,
allowed.
but they still have this. It used to be like this in the 80s and the 90s, that they didn't bother you for more
Yeah,
than,
but now you get evicted. People,
you get all
they're in a rental
but
house.
From that perspective, is if they already think now that it is allowed, then it wouldn't be too hard to convince them to say put it in the law. Put 5 plants in the law.
Yeah, put
And
5 plants in the
according
law.
to me, Put in the law not 5 cannabis plants, but put 5 flowering female.
Yeah,
plants.
that would be nice. That depends on.
And you can have a few veggies too.
Pretty much.
You can
Then you have.
selling in the
I think you have to there needs to be a lot of lobbying going on
Yeah.
to actually make sure that if that law gets written, it gets written the right way.
yeah.
Because as we've seen with same in the U.S. with going from 215 medical to Prop 64 and the horrors that actually come out of a badly written law is. I mean, I would like to see it go like Thailand. That would be awesome. Just like
Yeah.
okay, it's like legal.
You mean the climate?
Like no regulations. Yeah, like no regulations legal.
The beaches are also a lot better than in the Netherlands. Yeah, but they started with no regulations, but then putting on regulation like the age restriction and not too tight, but still,
Yeah,
it's not nothing, is what I believe. And but I do hear that the weed is good, but prices are not that super cheap. If you're unlucky, if you
What,
sort of
in
know-
Thailand?
In Thailand, if you
I
know
heard
where to go.
it's really cheap, too cheap. Too cheap to pay for the electricity if you grow inside.
Okay. Yeah, but
Right.
do you
I
have to
don't-
in Thailand?
No, you don't.
No.
Yeah, I would use greenhouses if I was in
Oh,
Thailand
yeah.
Yeah.
all day long. I've seen some greenhouses in Thailand. I think that's the way to go anyway.
Oh, yeah.
A few years ago already, somebody told me that if more countries will legalize, it's inevitable that basically 80% of all the weed that will be sold will be grown around the equator. Because there is the best conditions, it's the cheapest labor.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes,
how to do it.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
And people are also indoor is going to be thing. Well, if you look at the numbers in California, and I pull those numbers because I'm involved in a cannabis company in California. And if you look, most people just want cheap weed for a low price. That's just the reality of it.
What kind of wholesale prices are we talking about in California?
Like California is kind of still okay. Like Oregon, pretty much weed is worthless. It's real bad. You have to understand that controlled legalization kind of killed the legacy market also. Nobody's making money anymore. And that is highly problematic, and it doesn't make for a lot of fun because just
Same in Thailand, though.
yeah, there's just no money in it anymore.
Unless you make seeds in Thailand, it's worth doing that.
The thing is, I believe that full legalization is still the way to go. But before you get to a market that makes sense, yeah, you will go to a lot of up and downs. But I've seen that around the world. I traveled around the world to a lot of places that legalize. And you see that in every place that legalizes, you see these huge market shifts that everybody comes in capital, and then they overgrow by a mile, and then the market collapses, and you get this huge inflation, and half of the companies die, and then it comes back. We just seen that in California. California is now coming back for the last year, but the 2 years before were horrible. The market was down. There was no money influx. There was nothing happening, and pretty much 40-50% of the whole market just imploded. And by 50% of the market imploding, actually, the rest of the companies that did survive actually start to get a little bit of oxygen.
Okay.
And now the market is coming back, and you see kind of a renaissance going on. So it
The
just
trouble mostly was like too much taxes and too many rules, or
still going on.
okay. Those are the main problems that you have.
The main problems is je kan niet afschrijven. You can't do write-offs. So you can't go to normally you can write off your cost from your taxes, and that's not allowed if you're in cannabis. What is
okay.
it?
And still no
that's-
banking, eh? No banking.
Yeah, the banking is kind of going,
Okay.
is happening, but there's still lots of problems, and the taxes are so high that's almost impossible to run a company. You have to be really lean and really tight these days. So it's problematic, like I said, and people ask for legalization, and sometimes what you get is not really what you asked for. That's the problem.
Yep.
If you look at the quality of cannabis, when I was in the US in 2007, 2009, like until 2013, the weed was amazing. And then the corporate cannabis kind of came in, and the quality of the weed just took a nosedive. And even these days, when I go to California, it's not the same.
But isn't it so like that you have a few, at least, smaller craft growers, more boutique style, that still have that
yes,
quality,
but
maybe
course,
expensive? Yeah.
of course.
Yes, but
But maybe you have to look for
the amount, it's so rare and beyond.
Okay.
I think in the end, when people get educated, we have a huge influx of new cannabis smokers because we got this huge cannabis market developing. So you got this huge Gen Z that are all vaping strawberry vapes and stuff like that. They're coming in. They don't even like cannabis flavored things. They want candy, bubblegum flavored distillation pens and stuff like that. What is horrendous for us as cannabis people, but that's what they want, and that's the market that's being created, and that's not what we envisioned when we kind of went like, oh, we're going to legalize. It's going to be this.
That you bring it up, yeah, because just before I was talking to a coffee shop owner who is very much doubtful about within the Dutch weed experiment. First, they started having like the legally produced flower, which is quite good. They move on to hash. They do pre-rolls.
And Rosen now.
And Rosen now, but also since very recently, a few weeks, two of these grow companies also put on the market the vape pens, the disposable ones that you have 200 times and that's it. And this guy, he said to me, he sort of objects to the legal growers doing that because there's so much negative publicity around vaping, especially with young people. They try to ban the sale or ban.
I think the vaping.
taste,
I think the vaping, but as long as they're natural flavors, I don't see a huge problem. It's the problem when people start playing with the flavors, with the terpenes. That's when the problems come in. When something tastes like something it's not, and that's when you get young people because it tastes like candy. Like if you make things taste like candy, strawberry candy or sour melon candy or any flavors.
No, but there's different aspects too, even apart from that. Like if you compare rolling a joint or preparing a bowl to just sticking the thing in your mouth and sucking it, and there's nothing else you have to do. There's not much ritual there. There's not much.
There's nothing. There's nothing.
There
It's
can
that.
still be some ritual there.
But it's like I totally, it's the culture. But I've seen that on any market.
But the guy said to me like we are all old timers, like we are around.
I have to be very honest. I've been very disappointed on the way that some of the legal markets went, and I was very close to those, definitely the ones in America. And I'm deeply disappointed in what it ended up to be. And it is what it is. I'm kind of already over it because I can't stay crying all the time. But trying to hold on to the culture while you allow corporate to come in, take over, they just don't go mix very well together. Yeah, corporate and cannabis culture.
With the VOC, the NGO I'm the chairman of, our very first banner that we ever made, there's a slogan, "Save our cannabis culture." And back then it was really, we had to save it from the government, and from their plans.
Well, we have to now save it from ourselves. That's
but
kind
the
of
slogan sort of still.
Yeah, no, but slogan is still the same.
Still
And I help with that, and I try to do my activist sites besides just commercial things, and but it's hard. It's that like it's gonna be different, and let's hope for the best, prepare for the worst kind of situation.
Well, yeah, the wheat experiment is maybe a good example because, of course, there is a big lobby from the commercial side, from the coffee shops, as there should be. There's nothing wrong with it. But there's not such a big or powerful lobby for the consumer or the home grower. And that's why in the experiment there's not even
the biggest
any
problem.
mention of home growing. It's all about who produces the cannabis for the coffee shops.
Yes.
That's the whole
Yes.
story.
The home growing is the
To
part
me,
that
it
needs to
should
change.
start- It should start with the home growing.
Yeah, it should start with the couple of plants that people are allowed. That even in Holland, I've seen so many people that live in a rental in a social renting house, and they get
They're
kicked,
too scared to
and they're
do
too scared to do it, and that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's bullshit. Take a little tent, put a light in it, and grow a couple of plants. What the hell is wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. Just allow it by law, like Germany did. Problem solved.
Yep.
I think it will save the system, the justice system in here in Holland. It will save a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of things that they can.
Same goes for a lot of crazy regulations around coffee shops that really make no sense. Like you cannot have more than 500 grams stock.
Yeah, no,
When
that's
you're based in the center of
Unless you deal with the
Amsterdam or-
government.
Yeah, maybe then. Yeah.
No, absolutely then.
Okay.
Yeah, in Maastricht, my friend has 4 coffee shops. He can have a way more than 500 grams put away
Yeah, but
without
most-
having
yeah,
to
but
worry
most-
about
most-
getting busted for 20 kilos in the old days.
Okay. It used to be for every coffee shop, eh? Like
And it used to be for every coffee
it
shop.
was more like
No.
a gentleman's agreement that the authorities understood you cannot function if you only have this half
It's
kilo.
500 grams. If you have a line of people that want to buy weed, 500 grams is like what is it? It could be 30 minutes or 40 minutes of stock. That's kind of like it's an insane situation.
This whole circus that's going on with every single coffee shop. Now maybe the coffee shops in the experiment, not anymore, but all the other ones, where constantly people have to come in. And
Yeah, no, it should be at least triple that, like 1,500 grams or something.
what they
like,
do in the experiment is that they say you can have a week supply, and the week supply is based on your own supply. So indeed, if you're in the center of Amsterdam and you sell kilos, then the week is going to be a lot. And if you're based in Alkmaar, for instance, I don't know whether coffee shops do good business here, but then it's a lot less. But at least makes sense. But to me,
It needs to all make sense at this point. I mean, this is the most valuable plant on planet Earth. I've had this shirt for 35 years, since 1990.
wow.
This is a cannabis. This is 100% cannabis. My good friend embroidered this back in 1990. You see that?
It's amazing.
You see that word, yowling? That's an old word, you know. Yeah, man. So in 1990, I flew Jack Herrera from Alaska to Gainesville, Florida, in front of the Gainesville courthouse to give a talk. And that was the first time I heard him talk in person. I already had the Emperor Wears No Clothes. I was already selling it in my shop and stuff. But when I heard him talk with that courage, he stayed at my house too when he came to town. When I heard him talk with that courage on stage, there was tons of cops
Yeah.
back then in 1990. I also flew him in 94, and there was no cops. It was just everybody was smoking, in fact.
So, we had a lot of bad things. What is good about legalization? Well, I've seen a couple of good things also in the US. People don't get charged for having a couple of joints in their pocket. You can just buy weed around the corner. Yes, they're good things. The question is, if you're in the cannabis community, I think at the bottom things got worse, not better. But yeah, no, I'm happy that people don't go to jail anymore for things they shouldn't be going to jail for.
But that shouldn't be the end, of course, you know? The end deal, that it's only not going to jail anymore. It should be a lot better than that.
I know, but that's not...
But this is also the challenge. One of the very few good things I would say about the experiment we have in the Netherlands now is that it at least gives the opportunity to say, okay, so we had this experiment with these rules, and this is what we found. This rule, this rule, this rule, this rule we can all do away with. It's not necessary. This we have to do better. This we have to do more, whatever. And then change the law accordingly. Because usually you don't have this sort of experiment setup where the politicians, because that's
I like to see like in the U.S. in certain states they have things called micro licenses.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I like to see micro licenses in Holland. You know, possibility for people that don't have 30, 40 million, but like let's say $1 million. You know, and then like I'm going to bust out a beautiful grow room, and I'm going to grow some really dank like
also for extraction. And
but like just a small, just a micro licenses, like little warehouse, you know, and have that possibility. You have to more like a mom and pop kind of like I can do this together with my wife and run this place.
Can I do one of those?
I would love it. Like, no,
I want to do one yesterday.
Which one would you do?
Like one that I don't get in trouble for, and that I can like go like this. That's in the beginning, the middle, and the end. Like,
I was in the state. I forgot the name of the state. So many states close to the border of Canada and Vermont. And I was in Vermont. In Vermont,
Vermont's the first place I ever got busted for cannabis.
In Vermont, they only have 3 medium, big licenses that they gave away, and the rest is all micro licenses because they want to keep it like within the community and things like that. So they actually have this thing that you can pretty much bust out a house or a garage and start like this small little license that gives you the opportunity to do something special and to do something within the community. So there are definitely possibilities of making regulation in a way that it doesn't go to corporate. There's a way to stop that, to bring it to community. And I would love to see more of that because in Holland at this moment, it's all being given to corporate.
Yeah. Basically so.
Yeah, basically.
But with maybe the exception of Hologram, which is like BioBiz, the nutrients company, together with John and Ines, you could say real legacy growing pair that we had for years. So you could sort of say that that's not yet, because maybe they will be bought over, you know. But right now, it is sort of.
But I like to see a different in regulation, like micro licenses and possibility for people to do different kind of things and to do it in a smaller scale because it's definitely possible. Why not? You make something really special. You know, if you, I could do 4 delights by myself together with my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need no staff. I can be very lean.
You can trust her too.
Oh yeah.
You know how important that is when you do something like that. You gotta be trusting that other person. Man.
Oh, back in the day when I used to grow plants,
you know what I mean?
I was joking. Like listen. Every grower I talk to that is in a relationship that I talk to, every cultivator, and even me back in the day. It's not us that actually grows the plants.
It's God.
No, man, it's that
For
lady
me,
behind
God.
me. She was watering. She was watering the plants more than I did. Like it's verjaard. Statute of limitations. It's okay. I can talk about it.
What do you guys, to put a subject on the table, if we legalize, what do you think about advertising? Should there be no limits to advertising, or should there be a ban on advertising? Or
honesty is the best policy. That's what I say.
Mm-hmm. The same ban as on liquor. Just put it like to that level.
But you
could CBD commercials.
Yeah.
No, but same.
But you can of course argue that alcohol is so much worse, so much more bad for your health than weed. Why have the same? Why not have?
Because I like to keep children out.
Yeah, but
and alcohol's geared after a certain amount of like in the evening, like not during the time that the children programs are on television. I'm okay with cannabis. I just don't need to push it in children's faces.
So how about celebrity endorsements, SOMA? Should it be allowed?
Definitely. Yeah. For me, it's the most valuable plant on earth. Above all, there's nothing grown on this planet that's more valuable. If you can go back into the old Navy days when the boats were made out of wood and sails made out of cannabis, ropes made out of cannabis, the OAKUM, the oakum, that sealed all the wooden planks together to make them waterproof, boiled cannabis plants. Each ship, 300 ships in the Navy, each ship, 60 tons of cannabis. Where'd that get grown?
All over the place.
And
it had to, didn't it? I mean,
and honestly, most celebrity weed tastes like regret. You know, like.
So that's the reason why it should be banned, but not by law.
No, not by law, but
By popular demand.
Yeah, by popular demand. Come on, like celebrity weed is kind of like a joke almost in the U.S. Like every self-respecting guy. No, you think Wiz Khalifa actually smokes that stuff that he sells?
I know
no,
that.
I'm sure that he has a bag of really good weed that he smokes.
But you can argue if you can do it with coffee, you know, why can't you do it with weed?
Well,
Yeah.
I know Mike Tyson. He's doing it with mushrooms, with bufo, with weed. He's not fucking around. He's really doing it.
Yeah, but Mike also kind of does it with everybody. Like
And does he smoke his own weed?
His own weed?
Yeah.
I don't know if he has time to grow his own weed, but he definitely does bufo. Did you ever do it?
Sorry for me barging in.
It's quite,
I just
quite
want to
worth
thank
doing.
all you guys for being here and doing this great piece of content for us.
Hey,
shout out to the legend.
pleasure.
Thank you for
you
everything.
two bros, you're nice bros to watch in action.
I love you, brother.
Yep.
I love you guys.
Yeah, we're also good that you came in. We're also almost about to end up because we need to get out to smoke a couple of more joints with all those cool people in there.
Yep.
You want one puff of this before you go?
So we're ending up with Ruben. Come, Ruben in there. So we're ending up High Rollers Festival, and see you guys next year, and
Bigger and better.
bigger and better, and it's going to be fun. See you next year.
Happy 420.
Sponsorship
420.
still available.
And we're gonna be back tonight with
Yeah. And we have from 6 or 7, we have a whole program filled up until the evening with live streams from different hosts. So we're gonna have Jason Trill later, we're gonna have Story the podcast later, and a huge freaking chaos podcast that we're gonna do all together with all the homies to end it off. So good luck, see you later.
Peace.
Thanks guys.